Hey!
Hello.
Hi, I'm Pixie and I'm an artist currently based in Hyderabad, India. So I have my latest exhibition coming up. It's called A Wanderer's Guide to Hidden Worlds and it's happening from January 18th to March 30th at Kata Specialty Coffee House in Banjara Hills.
So how's the preparation been, man?
Oh my god, I'm going crazy. I feel good about it though. I feel very confident right now. And I think that my confidence is coming from the fact that I am working on something that I really care about. So I feel very energized and I feel very determined about it. I don't think I have that feeling when it's working on, work at my job, But this is something that okay, I'm going multiple sleepless nights. That's okay. I'm putting out something that matters to me, so I'm happy about it.
Must be a whole lot of a hula hoo.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since I felt like this, because I think I got stuck in a little bit of a rut. I was questioning everything, and now I'm at a point where I feel a lot of clarity about taking decisions that are meaningful to me.
It must be so good to look at it. Just turn around and get in this room full of you.
I know. And that's how the exhibition's gonna be too. It's gonna be all of my paintings all up in one space. And it's gonna be colorful. You walk in and you're gonna be like, that's nice. It's a good feeling.
That's awesome.
I hope that a lot of people come there who have never seen anything like this because that's really the revolution that I want to create. I want people to see it and be like, I would have never thought of that. How did she think of that? Or where did it come from? What's the story? Sparking curiosity and wonder in people is probably the main reason why I like to put my art out there. I don't like to prescribe a real meaning to any of my paintings, any of my art. I'm more interested in the interpretation given by others. In fact, in my first exhibition that I ever did, the whole concept was around this theme. The exhibition was called The Visual Metaphor, and each of the paintings was meant to be an interpretation, an interpretive art. So suppose I had a painting, I also offered all of the viewers and guests Post-it notes to write down what they think that the painting should be titled or what they think the meaning of the painting is to stick by the painting. So it's like a cycle of inspiration, right? I put the work out there. I had something that inspired me to put it out there, but then now other people are seeing it, getting inspired and writing down their thoughts about it. Then I read that again and then I'm inspired again. I'm like, wow, I never would have thought of it in that perspective. So that's one of my favorite things about showing my art to people.
Yeah.
And in this instance, for this exhibition, I write down a little piece of a story. So that's also something that you can experience. For instance, these characters here, all of these paintings have their own little stories from my journeys to these worlds. So, yeah.
But yeah, it's the person's interpretation.
Yeah, the person can interpret it. I mean, this exhibition is a little different. It's less about the person interpreting it, but it's more about just experiencing the world.
Peeking into these other universes or
Exactly.
windows, and yeah, for sure.
So the name of this exhibition is A Wanderer's Guide to Hidden Worlds. And I thought that would be the perfect title for this because when I took a look at all of the paintings that I had to offer for this exhibition, and I tried to think about what is it that ties them all together, I realized that each one of them is kind of like a glimpse into a new fantasy world. And apart from that, I wanted to include myself in this journey. So I thought, what if I was the traveler? What if I was a wanderer going to all these different worlds and making accounts of them with my paints and my canvas? And now this is my journal or archive of all of the things that I've experienced during my travels. And now you get to see them, and yeah.
So what's your time frame? How long does it take for you to paint or finish a painting?
Oh my god. So this is actually a really interesting moment for me because I'm preparing for this exhibition and it's paintings that I'm doing the bulk of the work for these paintings in the past like couple of weeks. Whereas generally, even for a small painting, I take over years to complete it because I pick it up and put it down over the course of like weeks and months. I usually have like at least 15 unfinished paintings lying around and I pick them up when the moment feels right kind of thing. But I love having this event to look forward to because it's pushing my limits to kind of try and see how I can innovate and create in that time frame. I literally have, I don't know if I should be ashamed of this or proud of this, but I literally have 2 days to go and I still have to finish all of the paintings you see behind me, so it's gonna be crazy.
I know this is not your first exhibition. Can you tell us about your experiences of your exhibitions before?
So my last solo show was actually in Senegal, West Africa. I was living there for 4 months and needless to say, I was quite inspired by the change of environment, by the amazing hospitality, beautiful textiles, beautiful nature, beautiful people that I was surrounded by. And I really loved the communal concept of attaya. Attaya is the tea that they have almost, well, daily, but also multiple times a day. And it's a situation where you could be anywhere and walking down the street, somebody's making a tie in the corner of the street, you're invited, you have to drink the tea, you have to be a part of this little community activity. So all of the paintings were kind of based off of my experiences there. Some of them were like on the water, some of them were about the fishermen that I was meeting, some of them were about the, unlikely circumstances where people from different backgrounds, different walks of life would all be sitting down just to have a cup of tea together. And that was my last exhibition, and it was also a really colorful, went with the whole surreal theme, and it was very much inspired by my time there.
Does it feel the same, setting up that exhibition and setting up this exhibition? Is it like the same feeling, or you feel like you're in a different chapter of life?
I think the organization aspect of the exhibition was kind of similar in the sense that I was obviously, worried about getting my paintings done, and the last week before the exhibition was crazy. It was also, and I was also really worried about making sure that people would come and making sure that I was, sending the invite to enough people. So the experience of this exhibition is a little different because I'm in my home city and there's not as much of new experiences happening to me. So it's more like I have to just dive into my head and be there in the worlds that exist in my mind to bring out that beautiful vision.
Okay, let's talk about your imagination. These beautiful creatures and these paintings and these sceneries, what inspires them to be so wonderful and so colorful and whoa, I want to live there. These people look so fun. How do they come alive and how do they appear to you?
I think every artist will tell you that their work is kind of a reflection of what makes them feel. And for me, I think most of my paintings come out of a sort of subconscious dump. It's a mixture of my imagination and my feelings. So a lot of the things that I love to create are creatures and environments of worlds that you've never seen before. And I love the use of color. So most of my paintings you'll see have a very interesting use of color and also a lot of it. Most of them are really colorful, so yeah. Reflecting on my childhood, I think that I did read a lot of Dr. Seuss, and I really love Dr. Seuss. I love his imagination, I love his use of creatures, and creating these kind of stories that a kid could read, but anyone could really read it and have a fun time reading it. And I also really inspired to do children's book illustration because of the same thing. Another few of my early influences, I know this is not really what you meant, maybe, I don't know, but like, I would say SpongeBob is a big influence for me. Like, I feel like if you were to like dissect my being, you'd find 50% SpongeBob and 50% Lord of the Rings. That's like what I'm made of, probably. I love Lord of the Rings also. I'm like in the middle of reading The Return of the King, so.
Tolkien's world.
Yeah, a big reason why I love Lord of the Rings is because of the depth of the universe that Tolkien makes, you know? You could keep learning things about it and never stop learning things about it. Everything has a backstory to the genesis of the world, and you know, everything has so much depth and all of the characters have so much meaning, and I love that. So yeah.
If you were a warrior in Lord of the Rings, or one of the race, which one would you be? Or which one would you like to be?
In terms of the like which race I like in Lord of the Rings, I think I just love the attitude of the dwarves mostly. But I think growing up, like I always loved Legolas like the most. Like I wanted to be an elf, like because that's just so like imagine living in like Rivendell. I don't know. Yeah, and just like shining all the time, like you know. So probably that. And yeah, back to you were talking about my influences. I think that I'm not somebody who is very particular about learning about other artists, but for me, two of the artists that kind of made a big impact on me and my style back then when I was like 14, 15 was definitely Frida Kahlo and Paul Gauguin. So Frida Kahlo has forever been an inspiration for me and still is like one of my main inspirations. I love obviously her surrealism. I don't think that she would call it surrealism because that's like a reflection of her reality. But I love her unique use of elements in the paintings, juxtaposition of her feelings and how everything kind of describes what she's going through perfectly. And also obviously her life has a really interesting story. I love reconnecting with that. Paul Gauguin, I don't know if he was really a great guy per se, but like I really love his use of color and his learning about his paintings and seeing his paintings. I actually got to see some of his original paintings in real life in Basel, Switzerland. So getting to see that was like really inspirational for me because I also love experimenting with color, obviously. So yeah. I think that I get inspired a lot by number one, my imagination, number two, my feelings, and number three, my environment, and especially when I'm in nature. So this specific painting was something that I started when me and my friend were near the beach. And we were obviously around a lot of water. And I was thinking of what kind of creature would live there? What kind of creature would be dwelling in a wetland, a wet space? This is the birth of this creature right here. I actually only have a very small glimpse into her reality as it is because she's quite silent, but she's very powerful too. So when this painting's done, I'll show you guys. It's gonna be really cool. So this painting is called Hugging Weeds, and this painting was done during the lockdown, and it was just the beginning of the lockdown. It was probably like a few weeks in, or maybe even 1 month, 2 months in, and I was living with my friend at the time, and we had a backyard, and the gardener wasn't able to come through because obviously nobody was working at the time. So all of the weeds grew out, and it was such an interesting contrast between how we were living our lives and how the wildlife around us was kind of thriving. And I remember sitting in the backyard and feeling jealous of these weeds because they looked kind of like, they were hugging and experiencing love and closeness with one another, where we were not allowed to. We were not allowed to see our friends hold them. And it was just a really interesting moment, like a contrast and role reversal. Because in another world where the lockdown didn't happen, I guess these weeds wouldn't have had the opportunity to thrive like this. So I was really inspired by seeing them and sitting amongst them. So that's an example of one of the paintings, stories behind one of the paintings. So yeah.
Let's talk about Pixie. What all does she love to do, and what's her favorite hobby?
So apart from making art, I love skateboarding. I picked up skateboarding maybe in 2019, and it's been something that's been a constant since then. I've even competed nationally here in India and won medals too, so I'm pretty proud of that. And I even started 2 girl skate communities, both in Philadelphia and here in Hyderabad. So I love getting involved with the skate community, love the opportunity to meet new people through it, to spread the love of skateboarding. And even within our skate meetups, we do a lot of artwork, we do a lot of crafting, we spread the love of art as well. So it's all mixed in together.
What's the skate community called?
Here in Hyderabad, you can find us at Girl Skate Hyde, and we do meetups almost every month, and they're free, most of them. And we also have opportunities to win a lot of goodies, get a lot of free skateboards, skate gear. So if you're a beginner, or if you're somebody that had always, just thought about the idea of skateboarding but doesn't know where to start, hit me up. Hit Girl Skate Hyde up. You won't regret it. It's really fun. So yeah. And apart from skating and art, I think I really just love being in nature. I love exploring, hiking, I love swimming. I love swimming in natural pools, lakes, oceans. And just being surrounded by greenery. I love birds. I really love birds. The opportunity to go birding is always makes that day the best day for me.
And I see a lot of these things translate in your work as well. Like you make some beautiful birds.
Because birds, it's like maybe they're what I want to be. They can fly wherever they want, do whatever they want. Yeah. So, for instance, this painting was done when I was with my friend in Goa, and we were in the middle of a beautiful jungle and surrounded by so many amazing looking trees. And I was wondering, how does a tree make itself, Each branch kind of twists in its own way, and no tree look alike. So I kind of made my own tree here, inspired by all the trees around. And another beautiful memory from that place was sitting almost at the level of the canopy and having all of these amazing birds flying around in the trees. So I also wanted to incorporate the aspect of birds. And actually, this kind of ties into my daily life story now, because I live in an apartment where when you go in the balcony, you're kind of at eye level with the middle of the tree, the canopy of it. So every day we have numerous species of birds, squirrels, little critters coming through, even monkeys, cats, all sort of things, climbing up into this tree, and it's like its own world, its own beautiful ecosystem. So I feel like this is an homage to that, how this tree is home.
Okay.
Woohoo!
So I was asking, what made you decide, I'm going to do this, put yourself out there and make an exhibition or make this statement, so to say. What was the drive behind it? You wanted to prove yourself something, or just what was it?
Well, I decided that I want to prioritize my art above everything else. This is something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, And it's been a goal of mine as well for the past 2 or 3 years that I would have liked to do an art exhibition here in my home city of Hyderabad. And I quit my job in April and decided I want to go full-time into art. Everything else can be a less of a priority, but for me as a person, I think this is something that I want to kind of put on the highest pedestal. There's no giving it any second place now.
It must be so challenging. Like honestly, I think I am inspired, and I'm just like, it must be so challenging to put up an exhibition in Hyderabad whose art scene and everything, they're so to say like squares, or just like just have like a horse vision. They're just like, oh, look in one direction, and they don't really, I would say it's pretty sad, so to say, like they're putting things in a box and stuff like that. And then it is, I think it's a very cool thing. You're just like, bro, fuck you, there's like more shit to it than you think, you know? Get out of your fucking box type shit. And I think that's really cool. So like I want to know like what are the challenges like and the stuff you had to face.
So one of the first things that I did was visit a well-known gallery here in Hyderabad and pitched my art exhibition concept to them. And they immediately declined, saying, you know, their clientele does not match with the type of art that I make, and that they have a very specific niche that they want to stick with. And I understood at that moment that, you know, it was gonna be a lot of it was gonna have to be a little bit of a breakthrough for me to do this exhibition. And I decided from that moment that I didn't want to compromise on my vision or anything like that. So I have been kind of really sticking to my style when it came to obviously my paintings, but also the promotion of it all, the way that I'm talking about it, the way that I'm describing my work, the way that I'm setting up the event for my works. And I'm really happy that it's coming out very close to my vision. And I think that it is really challenging bringing people in to appreciate art that is not traditional or your generic idea of what contemporary art can look like, because a lot of people are used to seeing one thing and then it's very confusing for them to see something that they've never seen before. I think that my art is very fresh for this city, and I'm really happy about that, because you could look at it like a limitation, like, oh, you may not get that many sales, but I think of it as something that helps me stand out, and I think of it also as something that helps push the narrative to doing things differently. I hope that there's more artists that come out and do really cool exhibitions like this with fantasy, surreal themes, and don't feel afraid to, you know.
What is that you would like to get out of this exhibition?
I think I just want to create some buzz in the city for new and refreshing types of art and expression. I think that it's kind of lacking, and this is gonna be an experience that something different to anything that I've ever had in the city. So hopefully people are inspired by it. I want people to remember me. I want people to think of me when they have some weird imaginative thought, when they create a creature of their own. I started experimenting with doing workshops as well. I did one recently on how to make a creature. So it's kind of just spreading this love for like trusting your intuitive imagination and not being afraid to kind of explore the depths of it and create new things that have never existed.
How's it working on these sculptures?
Oh, these sculptures were very difficult. So for this exhibition, I'm experimenting with fabric sculpture. Imagine I am the traveler going to these planets, and each of these paintings that you see is, you know, my vignette, my impression of those scenes happening in those planets. But also, when I was in those planets, when I was in those worlds, I picked up souvenirs. And those souvenirs are going to be my sculptures. So imagine otherworldly alien plants or organisms, and they're all gonna be hanging from the ceiling. So you walk under them, you look up, and you're like, oh, that's a really interesting shape and an interesting color like this. Nothing like anything I've seen on this organic earth.
Bellissimo.
This is my little experiment with sculpture, my most recent experiment with clay. It's a little box that I made. That's a lid to the box. Let's name him Bertel. Yeah, little cookie jar. Ta-da! I have a lot of fun things going on inside the jar. I have a bunch of little creature stickers too. Oh my god. They all have their own stories too. And I love coming up with product ideas too. I think it's really fun. For this exhibition, I'm gonna have my first clothing and also a bunch of stickers, a bunch of small original paintings, and I'm gonna have prints. And yeah, that's probably it for merch because I literally have 2 days. You should have seen me last night. I was like literally sealing the envelopes of like 60 invitations that went out today morning to the post office. So shit's crazy.
Let's talk about our city or our country's art state and how would you want it to change and what do you expect from it and maybe what do you not like of it?
I think that the people in every city kind of define the sort of vibe that you get from it and what kind of events or what kind of activities that people are more drawn to. Hyderabad is kind of a really hard city to crack when it comes to doing something out of the box, because I think people, even if they were, going out for an experience, maybe they're looking for some more, like a bit of sophistication, something that's like Instagram worthy, or I don't even know. But I would say that in terms of art appreciation, I hope that it changes, because a lot of people frankly don't give a shit about art and creative pursuits in any capacity. And that is changing, honestly. I feel like there's a lot more community workshops, organizers, events that keep happening every week, and I see a lot more people getting interested in the concepts of it. In terms of the ecosystem, I think it still has like a really long way to go for this to become like a vibrant hub for artists. But obviously, like all the artists that are living here are trying their best. I know that for a fact because I've been a part of different shows. I've spoken to and met with a lot of different artists and organizers, curators in the city who are all doing really great work, and I appreciate you all. Compared to where I was living before, both in Philadelphia and New York, it's kind of really hard to find people here that want to purchase your art. Even though my art was in a much more nascent stage then, even my smallest paintings or like my most random paintings would get sold pretty quickly if I put my work out there. And I think people just have more of a culture for art appreciation, art collection, and more of a affinity towards alternative arts. I think that's something that me and so many others are trying to change. Not only in art, but like in music, in skateboarding, in a lot of different other little fields. And that community is growing. We're like kind of nice and tight knit right now, but hopefully in a decade or so like Hyderabad is booming when it comes to new opportunities, business growth, and bringing in a lot of more residents. It's a huge tech hub, so you got a lot of people coming in all the time. So hopefully through that we create also new experiences for art and art appreciation.
Yeah.
Just developing like the interest or the habit for going out to a gallery or an art show or a music show, it kind of helps support all of the local artists in the area. So definitely keep doing that.
Come meet me in my exhibition.
Come meet me in my exhibition.
What more is Pixie up to, and what all is she going to do, and what all can we expect of her in the coming days?
Oh my god, I feel like they're all secrets. Like, I'm not at the point where I'm ready to share because I have a lot of things brewing. A lot of things maybe related to my art, but also related to other art forms. And I'm kind of...
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm like really looking forward to like diving into that. Usually my comfort zone is painting, but I've been getting into sculpture, I've been getting into music, I've been getting into like more clay, I've been getting into fabric, I've been getting into clothing production, I've been getting into toys, so a lot of different things. Don't ask me now because they will all come out when the time is right.
That's true.
Can I sing a bit of my song?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if I can even sing. Just like the wind carries smoke from the fire, I'll let it wash away my confusion and desire. Just like the water finds its way to the ocean, I'll find in myself a warm home and devotion. Okay.
That's wonderful. That's really good. All right.
Yay! Thank you very much for this interview.